Hello. To nobody in particular, but hello. Just waiting for things to load up, and I'm setting up my stream over here. Okay. Welcome back to Discordia. Woo. Okay. Well, hello. Welcome to my live stream of my turn. I am Christopher Tarantola, aka Swifty Spider, aka Architectnet, depending on where you find me. Today we are playing Cities Skylines, and we are playing Discordia. This is my second turn. It will be my final turn because we will be doing a second. They'll be doing a second type of Discordia later, um, and it's going to have some different rules to it. It's going to work a little bit differently than this one. I'm quite interested to see how it goes. Now, looks like we have some demand for offices and or industry and for residential. We have 105,000 people in the city, which is a pretty good amount. Let's take a look at the city overall. So it's looking pretty good. Since the last turn I had, we do have rails that Zardis put in throughout, and hello to you. All right, welcome to the podcast. Not the podcast, the live stream. So I have this rail coming into my district here. If we take a look, my district encompasses the area along these avenues here. I actually get across the avenue over here, and I will be utilizing that today, and then I go along the avenue here. So we got quite a bit of room to do, and I think I'm going to be doing quite a bit of changing. You know, my last turn, I had originally intended, I had this as a the word is escaping me right now. Oh my goodness. It was a canal. That's the word. Woo! So I had a canal right here, and it was going out, and I actually went past beyond my borders all the way to the river. I was new, and I was taking the tack that, you know what, I'm going to do first and ask for forgiveness later. C. Dardis being a lawyer, I call him Zardis being a lawyer, he was like, no, you know what, I'd rather you ask permission first. And so, you know what, I fixed it on this turn. I did it really quickly, so I didn't really do what I would want to do with it without that canal system. I did notice that somebody down here was able to do a canal system, and kind of make it work, which is pretty cool here. But I'm not sure. Looks like that they put a water pump in, and that was to help the overflow and stuff. And it looks pretty good. But you know what? I'm not going to mess with it today. I am just going to alter things. So it kind of looks cool because you get the hard lines from where the canals used to be. Because I set up all those trees while the canals were still there. But you know, I do want to change things quite a bit. So first of all, I want to connect to this rail, and this rail, this particular rail is, I don't believe it's connected to any. I guess technically it's connected to this station here, this train station. So I have this train station here. Let's see. Let's look at the setup here. Let us look at the setup. So it has, somebody already set up a line that goes from my station. Looks like it goes to here, to there. Okay, so it does connect to everybody, which is pretty cool. So I'm wondering if I need to also, it looks like I also have access to a, to regular, to cargo rail here. Let's see. So that goes this way and connects on to mine, and then this one comes this way and connects on to mine. Where does this train go? I guess it goes to right here, which is another train station. So I'm betting I can connect to that by connecting it up here. So it's going to be interesting. You don't want to have, and when you're doing your rail, in my experience, you don't want to have too many junctions. So I don't want to just like turn it in here and then connect directly to there, because what's going to happen is while trains are waiting to get into this station, they're going to start blocking things, and then you're going to get blocking, and it can create a whole big mess that will start actually creating traffic, and that's when you really get into trouble. So since this is inside my district, this avenue here, I'm wondering if I can raise or lower the actual avenue as part of my turn. I wonder if that's against the rules. I'm not really sure, to be quite frankly, because this is not my avenue, but it is inside my district, like solidly inside my district. So I'm wondering if I can go ahead and make that happen. And, you know, I know that's kind of what everybody was wanting to happen anyway, and it is creating a bit of a traffic issue. The other way to go about that is to create a bypass on my own, which is probably what I'll do to try and honor the tact, to not redo the tact I did last time, which is to go ahead and do it and then ask for forgiveness later if it was the wrong thing to do. Instead, what I'm going to do this time, I'm gonna continue this on, do a bypass around, and have it come back in at some point. I don't know. I might have it actually come all the way down here, and then connect up somehow, maybe to about right there. I think, and then you know I can build up into this area. I'm gonna fill in all of this area here. I have a lot of pollution here, so I'm not going to do too much with it, except maybe put some actual industry. But I don't want to bomb these other districts with pollution. So actually, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I might put some parks or something. I don't know. I might just leave it alone. It's just going to be some dead space. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. And then this goes on now. Mitt Romney did put in his own thing, but I do believe he used the wrong rail here. So if we look, I can't create a line. I can create a line from his to mine. I can't create one from mine to his. You see this? So click. I'm creating a new line. And I can add the stop, and then complete the line. Oh, okay, so it must have been fixed, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'm actually going to undo that, though. Going to undo that because I want to actually drag this stop to here. And then I want to add a stop. Come on, add a stop. Come on, you can do it. Drag line to add stop. Come on, I'm dragging it. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Ah, I was over here. I was trying to drag it over here. Okay, got it. Okay, great. So now we have a great little stop, additional stop there that connects to Mitt Romney's district, which is fantastic. It wasn't working. I think it was just a one-way earlier, and so that was creating a problem there. We also, since the last time I played, we have the addition of all of these metro lines, these subways, and so that's something I also want to incorporate into my design. I definitely want to look into, I have one bus line, it looks like, that goes through my district that I had set up, but, well, and it's somehow going all the way through here, so maybe somebody else either set it up or co-opted it since I set mine up. But I'm going to run, oh look, this is the bus line that I was thinking of. Yeah, so I set this bus line up through my district, but I want to incorporate having the bus lines go near these subway stops, and I want to connect to these subway stops more directly than I currently am. Make sure that people can really get to and from them and want to walk. So I'm going to maybe utilize some pedestrian bicycle pathways to get that done. When Zardis, I keep on calling him Zardis, and I apologize. When he put in this rail, I originally had this going to this corner here, and he just kind of threw this in right here. I'm obviously not a huge fan of the way that looks, so I think I'm going to continue this wall along here, and I'm going to find a different route for these guys. I don't know if I'll build maybe a pedestrian bridge that goes over the rail and then connects to the sidewalk over here. I think that might be a better solution. And then we need to really have a connection here, because here is where we have one of our stations here. So we got one there. Looks like we have one here, so I want to make sure. Actually, I have some good connections here, so I'm going to leave that probably alone. I don't know, I might want to connect somehow to right here to get to that station. And looks like there's a station right here, but there's a good connection via a road there. So I might leave that alone. Where else are we going here? Okay, and so we got a station there, and that's right on the corner here. So that's going to be something to think about. I might, I think I'm going to redo the grid here, though, pretty much completely. So that's also something to think about. And yeah, so let's get started here. I think I'm going to start by setting up the rail. I think that makes the most sense. So let's go to rail here. And I want to think about how I'm going to connect, because I don't want it to be in such a way that it causes too much traffic issues for the rail itself. So one way is to have it go straight, and then I could maybe like utilize this space here, delete that road, and I'm already taking that out. So have it kind of curve around this way, go along the edge of the road here, and then come around to connect right there. That actually makes a lot of sense. So first off, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn off my toggle road bending, so that way it doesn't bend. I'm going to Control A to turn on the anarchy, and then I'm going to also make sure it sticks to the ground, because I don't want it going everywhere. I'm going to turn off all these snaps with the exception of angle snap, and that's the angle there. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a curve, because it's I want it to kind of come out around this way, like that. Something like that. And have it come around here. And I'm going to actually turn the toggle node snapping off. What that's going to allow me to do is get really close to this road without it snapping to the road, because I don't want it to snap to the road. I just want to be right close to it, like this. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my bulldozer. I'm going to take that out there and go back to... so I'm going to turn the snap back on so I can start the thing, and then I'm going to turn it right back off so I can go straight along the road here. And I go to maybe right there, and then we will start our turn right about here. Alright, and then we'll bring it on in right there, just like that. And that's fantastic, right? And then we will take this, and we're going to kind of just bring it straight on through. And give it a little bit of a turn here, and then we'll connect it up right there at that existing intersection. Yeah, that looks good. Now, what I might want to do is take that away. I'm going to use my Move It mod down here, and I'm going to select these all the way to here. I'm going to go to the alignment tools and go to my align height. I'm going to click on that intersection there so that it all is in line with that intersection. It actually goes down. And what that's going to allow me to do is, when I go back to my roads here, I believe that's 2-lane road with the grass. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go straight to about right here, and then I'm going to actually make it go above and connect like that. Just like that. Now, it is too low, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this, I'm going to go back to my Move It mod, and I'm going to bring the road up. So I'm going to bring that up so it goes above the rail. And the reason I'm not doing the road below the rail like everywhere else is because I'm already going under right here. So this is just kind of actually a more natural continuation of that. And it just makes more sense to me to do it like that. So that way this is connected, but we're not having to worry about the cross with the rail now. I'm also going to raise this up just a bit. Just a tinge to make it look a bit better. And hopefully that doesn't, I don't think that affects the other district too much at all. And then I'm going to make this a little bit smoother by raising this up as well. Just make it a smoother slope. Alright, and that's that. Now I need to figure out, okay, am I going to put in a cargo station? I think the desire was that I would. And so where would I put the cargo station? Would I put it, you know, we already have one right down here. So I'm wondering if I want to have one, say, like right off of this road. You know, here might actually be kind of an obvious place for it. But it's so close to this intersection that I kind of don't want to do that. It's too close to the intersection for me to do it. And actually, honestly, the same thing for right here, unless I did just a completely separate one that came around and came in this way. Let me think that through for a second here. Yeah, with the live stream, you're going to see me, you're going to get a little bit more thinking, because I usually do a lot of thinking off camera, and people don't even realize it when I'm doing my videos. So, it's definitely connecting there. Do I want to connect it also going this direction? I don't think it's as necessary to connect it in that direction, quite frankly. So I think I'm just going to have it dead end at the depot. So let's go ahead and set this up where it will go really as far as we can to here. All right. It's not going to connect there. That's going to stay being a dead end. But it is going to connect here. Again, we want to go down to ground level, and we want to take the snap off for now. All right, and then we're going to go straight, and then we'll go straight. We're also going to put that snap back on because we're going to. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulldoze this little section here as well. We have at least that one connection, which is actually probably enough. But I also just want to, since this didn't get connected here, I might eliminate this whole thing altogether and do something else with it, quite frankly. Made all those people happy, and I might redo where I put my power lines and all that stuff. So I'll worry about that later. I'm going to just focus on this for now. So have it go, actually unsnap, since we're not doing the road anymore. Just kind of have it go right along with this rail here, and then connect in, and then we want to go ahead and snap while we're connecting back in, just like that. And so it's kind of like a bit of a rail yard here. We got multiple different ways to get out. You know, what I think I might do is eliminate that like that, and instead have it come in like this. I think that makes more sense. That's more likely how that would have been done in real life. So this is kind of like starting a the beginnings of a rail yard. It's not really, but it kind of does something similar to how a rail yard would work. And yeah, and so it all goes into one here. Now, I wouldn't mind having a bypass. He has a bypass here, so he's already done his turn, so that's not. So if I was doing this city on my own, what I would do is I would leave a separate line here, and then I create a third line there, so I'd have actually two lines going across right there, since we have two coming right here. Because you can see we're getting a backup because these coming in are too close to this station. Excuse me, to this station, and it's creating a train backup like I was talking about. Because that's not in my district, there's nothing I can do about that here. And honestly, he couldn't have done much about it because he couldn't go into my district as part of the rules. But if we were continuing to do this Discordia beyond the second turn, what I would get with Costache here and say, hey, Costache, let's go ahead and take this line straight in, straight across here, and either connect it back up or just keep it separate all the way through. And that way it'll just work a lot better. And based on how he's been receptive to this whole line going through his district in the first place, I have a feeling that he would have gone along with that, and that would have created a nice, good solution there. So, alas, that's just not in the cards for this turn because of the way the rules are set up, and that's perfectly fine. The next round or the second Discordia, which is going to have a different name, the way they have the rules set, they're going to be setting up the rules. It's going to work in a different way to where we're going to have a little bit more freedom to do stuff like that, and we're going to have to actually be more collaborative because we're not going to just get our district and do whatever we want. We're going to have two teams, and each team is going to have one player per turn do that turn for the entire team. And it might be the same player every time, or it might not be, and there'll be a mayor of each team, and so each mayor will have kind of a little bit of control over what's going on and that sort of thing. So it ought to be interesting. It's kind of like playing a mini. It's much more like a miniature city, which I think is kind of half the point of this. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. So let's get back into this. So that's set up there. It's connected to that road there, which is great. I think I am finished with my rail setup here. I don't believe I have to do anything else to it. So now that that is set up, what I'm going to now focus on is I'm going to focus on my grid here. So I think what I want to do is I want to eliminate this grid here as it stands, and I want to redo it in light of the fact that I don't have this canal coming through. It's just, it made perfect sense for that canal, but it doesn't make sense now without it. I am going to leave that circular road going around, and I'm going to pretty much leave that park and university intact. I don't know what I'm going to do with this section here. I want to do something with it, but I'm not sure what yet, so I'm going to have to think on that. And yeah, let's take this out here. Don't like that. Take pretty much like everything out. Even all this. Yeah, let's take all this out. Okay. So there's going to be a whole different dynamic, and let's go ahead and go to our bus station here. And just eliminate this whole route here. We will put in a new route when we're all finished. Yeah, this is probably going to be one of the biggest changes from turn 1 to turn 2, because I'm looking to revamp my district quite a bit. I was thinking this was going to go much more than it like. I didn't know we were going to only have 2 turns. I thought we were going to have maybe like this was going to be ongoing, and as things progressed, it wasn't just going to be about population, but it was also going to be about, you know, with me, I like to tinker with my cities. I tinker with my cities and have pretty steady population for long periods of time, because I like to fine-tune my traffic, and, you know, if I want to detail a certain area, and just I take a long time for a lot of the stuff that I do, and so this is definitely a different experience for me, and some of that is good. I've learned some things that I've started incorporating in my own city, such as how Zardis chooses to utilize the trains throughout his city. If you notice, my cities, my big city that I've been doing on my channel I did a big expansion of my realm, and that's in no small part due to what I've learned here at Discordia. So even as short as it's been with only a couple turns, I have learned quite a bit, and really appreciate the time that I was able to spend here. And I'm already enjoying this. I'm having a blast talking to you guys and playing this game. So just completely eliminating all this. And hopefully will be replaced without too much detriment to the city. I plan to let this play out for long enough that it will stabilize. And it's my district, so I'll do what I want to. Yeah. Alright, so now we got this whole nice thing. The other thing I'm going to do, so you know, I have my water set up right here. Looks like water treatment and availability is fine, so I don't really have to do much to it. But I think I want to move those water towers. I wonder if I want to incorporate them into this or not. Actually, I'm thinking maybe not. But I might stick them like over here. So that's in my district, right? Yeah, so I can stick them in this corner here. I gotta stay away from that. I don't know how intentional that was, but since that's where the boundary is, I'm going to stick to that boundary. So stick them. I'm going to stick them over here. So Let's move this over here. Thank you. I know I'll connect that water pipe later. Stick this over here. Actually, going straight to that, snapping to the existing line there. So maybe we'll do that. I don't like that at all. Let's move that. There we go. All right, and here, and here, and there. All right, it's all nice in a row. It does look a little bit funky, so let's mess with our heights here. Bring them up a little bit. That looks much better. All right. We got all of our things in a row there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in a good 6-lane road here. And I'm going to continue it off of here. But we're going to go over this rail. Or maybe we should go under the rail. That's what everybody seems to prefer, so we'll go under the rail. Thusly. And come around this way. To there. And we'll go back home. I just hit the home key, to be clear. And we'll bring this right on in over here. Like that. And so the intention here is that since this is having such traffic problems and I don't feel like I can touch this avenue since it's not mine, is I'm just going to bypass it here. And let's go to our rail here and make sure that our rail just goes above it. And instead of making a second segment go above, I'm just going to move this segment. I'm holding down Alt as I move this to keep it nice and straight. And there we go. And then I probably want to go ahead and click here and here. I think I want to go down more. I don't think it's down far enough. So I'm going to go down a little bit more. That ought to be enough. Yeah. And I think I'll lower this down just a tinge, just a wee little bit there. And so now we have a nice little bypass there. And I think that's going to play into, I'll go back to just a regular thing here. But what we'll do, I don't want it to be up like that. I want it to be stuck to the ground. Okay. And I think I can kind of use this to redo this section of the district to be a big nice defining feature of the district. I don't know if I want to bring it like somehow back in over here where I have it coming straight out like this avenue is, just coming straight this way and then curving in, or do I want to? I have a feeling for my district, what's going on is they're all my entire district, along with all these other districts, is getting funneled into this, and that's why Xardus had to do such a strange little. It's basically a roundabout, but it's like a peanut about, really, or a phallic about, quite frankly. If you really want to be honest about it, he did a phallic about. Not that I think he was trying to be obscene. And if you don't know what that means, then you don't need to. But the reason he had to do that is because we're getting all this stuff being funneled in. And so I'm wondering if what I would really love to do is I'd like to have this actually bypass this right here and kind of come in over here so that they're all being there's just one connection. It's not having to do two connections. But again, because of the limitations that I have been given, I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm going to stick with this idea of coming here and coming straight off of it like this, and then we can curve it around to there, like that. And that doesn't look too terribly bad. Kind of interesting, certainly not how I would normally do something like this, but again, I think it works. Okay, and so now we'll go back to just some regular roads here. I'm going to use the nicest roads, and I think this is going to naturally want to come to like right here. Right, so we'll do that, and we'll do this, and then somehow we'll connect them. Just like that. And then have this just go straight. I don't know if I want to connect to this thing. I kind of want to, though. Shall I do it? I think yes, I will do it. I shall. Create a little connection right there. You know, I think I have Traffic Manager activated, and it's not supposed to be. I think I tried to make sure I had everything off. I think I forgot that was not one of them, but I haven't been using it. I don't think it's going to affect the save. That's bothering me now, though. We have to figure out what to do about that. For now, I'm just gonna keep going, because I don't think it's going to affect things negatively. It's not going to affect like the save game or anything, so I'm going to leave it alone for now. And I think we'll just have this come straight down like that, and have that connect that way. And then we can do like this and like this. Oh, now that's interesting. I don't want it to go like that. I think I'll have it do something more like this. And connect there. And I don't know, maybe we just have it come off of this road here, or I think, yeah, that'll work. We'll do that. So it's a much more dense grid than it was before. It has a little bit more formality to it. So I think that's going to work well. Let's go ahead and carry this on to over here. Like that. And I think originally what was going on is I had a bridge going over this. I no longer have that, and I don't think I'm going to reinstate it. I gotta figure out what to do with all this space, though. I gotta do something with it. I know I would make that a park if we had the Park Life expansion. I know that much, but we don't. So what am I gonna do with it? I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, now got that there. Got to connect here. We've kind of got to. And how's that looking? It's not too terribly bad. I've seen worse. So let's curve this a bit. Then let's hold down Alt and we'll curve it that way. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that needs to change at all. Besides that, I think that's great. Yeah, so that just gives a bit of a better connection to that right there. And I think what I'll want to do is I also want to connect here with a little pathway. Well, I don't like that it's deleting that. Surely I can get in here without deleting anything. Yes. Success. I wonder if I can go ahead and... I don't think I can because this is technically not in my district. Make a little pedestrian bridge. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. Mitt Romney, if you are listening, if you are watching, I'm going to create the beginnings of a pedestrian bridge, and I'm going to leave it to you to finish it. Okay? Can you do that for me, buddy? So I want you to finish my pedestrian bridge for me. I'll bring it over here and then right back down, or you can bring it down over here, or however you want, since it's your district. But I'm going to create the beginnings of it halfway, and then I'll leave it to you to finish it off now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulldoze this. I'm going to Control P to turn anarchy, the prop and tree anarchy on. And that ought to allow this to... Well, I thought it would. To stick it, I thought it would keep the post there for the center of the thing. Oh well, I don't know what went wrong there. I'm not going to troubleshoot it, but all right, buddy. Mitt Romney, I'm counting on you to finish it off for me, okay? Okay, now let's go and... So that's all good. That just needs to be zoned. You need to fill in this space here. Okay, so how are we going to do that? I think we'll just do like a cul-de-sac here. Just do a nice, simple cul-de-sac like that. Just like that. And what we can do is we can connect it this way. I wonder if it's how it's connected, but we can do, you know, a nice, decent connection right through here, just like this. Oh, let's turn the snap off. The snap is killing me. Oh, come on, turn off snap. There we go. Turn off that angle snap. There we go. That looks pretty good. I think we want to go ahead and do one that goes straight across right there as well. Yeah, I like that because then it connects here, and then you can go into this park to his university. I got one right there, man. You didn't need to put a university in. I have one. Also, since we're talking about university here, since we got this road here, why don't we create a cool little pedestrian thing here that goes all the way to the university. Connects. Love it. Bam. Doesn't that look good? Okay, and then we'll connect these here like this. Like that. And like that. I really wish I had my little mod that I could create little crosswalks right there and there. That would be nice. But yeah, I think it'll still work pretty good, and it still looks pretty good. Go ahead and connect right there. And right there. Yeah. I like it. Okay. And then what I can do is I can go and get my trees here. Oh, no, my trees are over here. Sorry. My bad. Trees here. And we'll do... What kind of tree do we want? Green tree. I don't know, maybe we do like one of these pretty little flower trees. I think we'll do... Oh, no, that doesn't look nearly as good as I thought. Okay, we'll do this one. Alright. So. We'll do it right along there. Let's change the spacing here to... Instead of 12, let's do it at 6. Yeah, that looks good. Just like that. And then, what's this large bush? See what that looks like. Oh, that is a large bush. That's quite a large bush. Okay, we'll do that. Screw it, we'll do it. Oh, let's change the distance a little bit. Let's bring that down to like 10. I think 10 is good. Okay. I'll do it there. Bingo. And great. I love that. I'm loving it. Okay. Alright. So now we got some cool trees going there. Okay. Now, where else do I need to put any grid anywhere else, really, except for right here? What am I doing with this space? I gotta do something with it. You know, I guess I could connect there, but that's so close to this intersection. It's just no good. It's just no good. I wish, Mukita, that you connected right here or right here. I think that would just be... It would just work better, man. It just would work better. Okay, I do need to somehow connect this over here like I had before. I don't know if I want to go over the rails, though. So let's see here. We're just going to have like a normal road here. Let's just do it straight. Let's turn our angle snap back on. And we can have this go airborne. 10 meters. Go straight across. Come back home to right there, and then be homeward bound from there. Let's curve it in. There we go. And then we can also curve it around this way. Create just like a little loop there, so we can build something on it. Something. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Okay. Let's also eliminate this here. Let's bring it someplace else. That's ugly. Let's bring it... Oh, look, we're already connected over here, so I don't know that we need to, but let's just go ahead and do it. Just in case. I want to do it someplace where he doesn't have... I guess I can do it right here, right next to this station here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. And then... Yeah, we'll do a 4. Oh, that's going to delete my thing. I don't want to delete it. Okay, so yeah, that'll be good enough. Alright. So, that just looks better, doesn't it? Okay, now. What is next? Anything? I think that's everything. You know, I think we need to maybe do some connections here, though. At least one here. Right, and, you know what I think we need to do? Let's go ahead and make sure that there's a good pedestrian connection here. Like that. Though I'm not sure I want to do it like that. Maybe I want to do it more like this. Or we bring it up. And then over. Like that. See what I'm saying? I like that better. And then we can make sure to connect this here as well across. So they don't have to go all the way around. They can just, literally what they can do is they can come from Mitt Romney's district over here, come up here, go around over to here, and straight on in. So I bet you that'll create a lot of nice pedestrian traffic right there. Kind of just want to throw that in there. Let's do it like this. Let's bring it in like this, and then up. Yeah, let's do that. And then what else? Where else do we maybe want some good connections? So looks like that's begging for a decent connection there. So I'm going to give it to them. And yeah, we need to get back over to this corner here. So how are we going to do that? So I guess technically you can come around this way, but let's bring it from, I think, right here. And we can go ahead and just be airborne. No, that's not working. Okay. Alright, so we'll bring it to like over here. And then be airborne. Or let's just be normal. Can we be normal? No, we can't. We can't be normal. What's normal? What's normal anyway? Nobody knows. Okay, we're going to bring it up over the rail here. Bring it straight. And we'll curve it on down as we go home. And then we'll go straight on in. Just like that. I think that will work. And you have a nice crosswalk right there to get to the train station or to continue on to the district. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. So I think one thing I want to do is I want to connect here as well. Let's do that. Oh, that's perfect. Didn't delete nothing or anything. The only problem with that is this little thing, but I'm going to leave it alone. You can pretend like that I was able to smooth that out, I think. I'm sorry. Yes, I am being. Am I being lazy? Yes, I am. But oh well. You can get over yourself a little bit if you're upset with that. Okay, we'll put that in there. I think I like that. Just get a lot of really good pedestrian connection here. So this comes over to here, but then it doesn't really get to do much with it. I wish I was able to do more with that. The only way I can see to do more with that is to literally put in some sort of road here, and I kind of don't want to do that. It's otherwise there's no crosswalk, and so I guess the other way I can do a pedestrian bridge, but I also don't want to do that. So alas, I'm going to just leave it be. So I think that's good. I think that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and deal with our zoning here. So again, we don't need much of dezone all this. We need mostly office and residential, right? So residential is going to increase the population. Here we go. I think we finally got that. You know, I'll go ahead and dezone that. There it is. Okay, so I have a whole lot of office already. And this is like my residential area here. I wonder if I want it more residential over here. So before I do that, maybe let's stick some parks in here, shall we? I think we shall. Yeah. Large playground, will that fit? Because I know, like, just like the large park. Ooh, I can maybe fit. Oh, look at that. I can fit that in right there. it's going to be so good. Yeah. Put that in right there like that. Look at that. Connects right there. Okay, so what I can do is I can delete this, but then what I'll do is I'll take this and I connect it right there. Just like that. Alright, and I can connect that right there just like that. Isn't that cool? I like that. Okay, I don't like this though. That's necessary, is it? It's not. It's not necessary. Oh, I love that. I'm happy with that. Okay, so there's that. Oh, you know what I need to do is I need to figure out this space. Oh no, not that space over there. I need to make sure it's in my district, right? But okay, I got this side over here. So I guess it's already zoned, huh? There's not really much more to do. I guess I can maybe do like one little thing right here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let this flow really nice and clean. I will zone it though, so let's go ahead. So that's definitely going to be office all on this side. This is all going to be office over here to right there. All right, and okay, that's in my district, so I can do it on this side. I think that this is getting out of my district over here. Let's see here. So I could do that, but that's outside of my district because my district kind of comes around like this. So, all right. So I got all that going. I will also put some over here and continue this over here. Take that off. And we only have so much demand, so I'm going to go ahead and put all these people over here. Just makes sense to me. I'm going to put low density over here. Oops, let's make that better, please. Thank you. Yeah, and then I want to make sure this is all high density here. Looks like there's maybe some spots that got missed or something. Okay, great. And so there's that. So high density residential. I think we stick that in this little block here. And this little block here. Gotta take that off. And the rest will be this. Oy vey, I'm not doing a great job of zoning right now. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now, make sure I'm staying in my district. I am. Yes, my district comes around like right here, so sort of. So that is solidly in my district there, so I will definitely zone that to there. I'll take that off. That makes sense. And I'll leave that little square off, and I'm not going to zone on this little round phallic about. Nobody wants to be zoned on the balls. You know what I mean? Okay. So, is that it? So I might take that off just to. There's no need to put like little buildings there. I think that ugly. Actually, what I might do is I might turn this back into residential right here. I don't know. For some reason, it makes sense to me, so I'm gonna do it. Going back to residential right there. Okay. Oh, it looks like I missed this area here. Let's do that. Let's do that. There we go. And I kind of. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little trick I've learned. So I don't want this zoning to be on this little Elsa Parker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that in right there, and it eliminates the zoning. Isn't that cool? I like that. My zoning is just, I like this zoning better. And it's cleaner, isn't it? Don't you think? I think the same thing could be said for like this right here. That looks horrible though. So let's do that a little bit better. Maybe I need to turn the angle off. There we go. And we could maybe like stick that right there to give it some sort of justification or something. I don't know. And yeah, I think we take it off right here as well. It doesn't need to be here. Did that help at all? Not sure that it did. Let's see if this helps. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just too close together, really. Maybe do one down the middle, make everything be 3. But I'm not going to. Alright, I'm going to leave that be. So, what am I going to do over here? I think I'm just going to do some low density. Maybe do some low density commercial. Have this be like a little shopping area. I know I don't have a demand for it right now, but maybe that's what we'll do. Do that. Gonna let this game start playing. And let's do some residential along here, right next to the train line, nice and loud. Yeah. All right. So that's going to be my district, but we're going to let it play out for a little while so that things can adapt. We are getting a pretty low frame rate here, if I do say so myself. Oh, hey guys, I haven't been paying attention. Isn't zoning all that at once going to cause death waves? Probably. It probably will. I ain't going to lie to you. Aren't all those road connections going to cause traffic issues? So, I don't think so. Ooh, I'm going to pause it real quick. So, got to deal with the power. So I don't really want to eliminate any of my zoning here. But I guess what I can do is go from here to here, like this. And, man, there's no really good way to do this. I guess I'll bring it in like this. Okay, back to the chat. Okay, aren't all those road connections going to cause traffic issues? So, I don't know. I don't, maybe right here a little bit. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I need to also figure out my bus routes. But I think it's going to be okay. This has been here for a while and hasn't had much traffic. Here I only have these 2 connections here, and that's all nice and smooth. And this ought to act as actually a bypass for this, because this is getting backed up from the trains here. So, I can see actually there's possibly a problem here. Part of the problem here is the bus, so I'm going to have to, that's something I need to work on, is my bus lines here. So, why is this bus line going through my district? It's actually, so it goes to right there, but it doesn't look like it's part of my district. I wonder if I pull this over to this side, if it would be better. Doesn't look like it would be. It's really strange. It looks like it goes by a couple different times. Is that in my district? It is in my district. I don't remember putting that there. Well, look at that. That helps a little bit. Oh, now I wonder if I bring it this way, will that help things? It still won't. Oh, because it has this connection here. So it looks like, where was it coming from? Okay, it's going over here. So let's bring it like over here. Why can't it go straight? That's really strange. Why can't it go straight through right here? That makes 0 sense to me. Why wouldn't it go straight through that intersection there? I don't know. I think the bus line was right there. It had a deal right there. I don't know. We'll have a stop right here. Yeah, let's do it right there. And maybe we'll bring another stop around over to here. Which way would be better? Yeah, let's do it like that. So it goes around the bypass. Sexy. Okay, great. Now let's do another one. It's just internal to my district here. And I think we'll have it start like right here. And it'll come around through here. Oh yeah, I have a little road here. Okay, I'll do it to there. And we'll bring it on around. Oh, my brother Coke, and we'll get the party going. Woo! All right. And is there one-way roads? I don't believe there are. For this is an avenue, so that's not a one-way road that I know of. Because there's no like custom roads in this thing. That we're all doing stock here, so I really don't understand that at all. Just don't understand it at all. So I've pretty much taken out any demand we have. We are losing money. No, we're gaining money. Okay, we're getting people again. So, I don't know. Let's see. I think that's good. I don't think we need much more. People over here can walk to wherever they need to get to. And there's a bus line that goes right through the center here, over here. So my desire was to have this be kind of like a bypass, so people wouldn't go through here and be stopped at this train line. It doesn't seem to be working as well as I want it to be. Let's kind of just watch for a little bit, I guess. Oh, so yes, there are one-way roads in the stock game, but to be clear, what I mean is this is an avenue, and so actually the intersection was over here. This is an avenue, and so there's no way that there's a one-way road. In fact, you can see that it's not a one-way road right there. Yes, we do have infinite money on because otherwise I think we would have gone bankrupt a long time ago, long before my turn even came up, quite frankly. So I don't know. Do you know the whole story behind Discordia, what this is? If not, I know Jack does. How you doing, Dak Daniels Prime, by the way? All right, let's see. Yeah, we're getting that traffic back up here, which is killing me. It's killing me. Hey, Jack Daniels, so this is how I did it. So this is my district, right? I didn't change the district at all. It came across the road here. What I did is I did this as a bypass to go under the rail, and it looks like a couple cars are using it, but this was put in by Zardis. It's inside my district, but it is not. But it's thank you, by the way. It is not a. It's not one of my roads. Is it okay if I put this underneath like I did over here, and then change this up on this side? Is that something that is in the within the rules, or is that like just a no-go, or will we have to talk to Zardis about it? Do you know? Because what's going on really is Kostash here, he wasn't able to put things beyond much right here, and so we're having some backup. Backup looks like it's coming from perhaps this intersection here, or it's unclear. It doesn't help that it's at nighttime. I'll go look when it goes to daytime again. That would be fine. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that in light of that approval from Jack Daniels. So Zardis, if you got a problem with it, talk to Jack. It's Jack's fault. It's all Jack's fault. All right. I'm going to delete. Should I delete the rail? Yeah, I'm going to delete this. All right, and that's just a normal thing here. So we're going to go straight here. We're going to make sure it's tied to the ground, which it is. And we want to turn on angle snap here. There we go. And we'll page it on down to 8. Right here, go underneath, and then bring it on home. Okay. That looks horrendous, but don't worry, I'll fix it. Oh, it looks like it made it just one thing here. I thought I'd put 2. So the traffic's already looking better. All right, so let's page that down just a little bit. There we go. And we'll go over to our rail here, and the rail will need to be changed to being above. Then over here, it actually needs to change to being connected to the ground. And then use our Move It mod here to grab that and bring it on across. And this power line's getting in my way here. There we go. So there we go. Look at all those people coming across too. Oh, that's gonna, I think, work a lot better now. I can't wait to see that kind of fill up. The only thing is, I think that that's a pretty steep slope. I don't want to really mess with this intersection too much here. Let's just bring it down just a few hairs. Oh, Control Z. It's bringing that down. I didn't have it selected for some reason. It is lagging so hard right now, you guys. It's not even funny. Come on. Let me select. There we go. Got it selected finally. And just bring it down a hair. Gotcha. If it fits 100% my district, I'm right on my border of my district right here, but I just brought that avenue down just a hair. All right, and this obviously is 100% in my district, so there we go. Oh, I think what I need to do is maybe give it a little. There we go. That curve is, it's now a couple curves instead of straight and a straight, which look kind of ugly. All right, I think I want to move this. Do I even need that anymore? Let's see. I don't think I do. I think I'm going to eliminate it. Get this stuff out of here. Oop, well, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I'll get to that, Jack Daniels, the quays you're talking about. I'll get to that in a second. I got to figure out what I'm doing with this part of my district now, because my district comes all the way to the freeway here. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my district now. Because I had the bypass was taking up pretty much that whole space. So I think I'm just going to stick some roads in there and throw some residential in and call it done. Let's see here. Just going to play off of that road. Just throw it in like that. And I'll give it one connection here. And throw in like a connection right here. Oh, I'm just throwing this in real quick. It's kind of ugly, I know. Go back to office over here. I'm going to make sure I'm staying in my district. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay. All right, Jack. I'll get those quays going for you. So let's go over here to the quays. And just throw it in here. Throw it in here, like so. Okay, and let's adjust it. So I think that needs to go all the way to the corner here, actually. And this could stand to go all the way to here. And then let's lower it just a tad, just to be under that rail. There we go. Let's get this lowered here as well. Be under the rail. There we go. And I think I want to lower that one out a little bit more. Just a little bit more. All right. I think that's good. I like the way it looks. I don't like how steep this angle is, but again, my district ends like right halfway through this avenue, so there's only so much I can do about that. It's pronounced keys, not quays, huh? Well, I'm from Texas, and we call shit the way we like to call it, okay? You don't have to make fun of me for it. I don't know. I call it a wall. That's what I call it. It's a wall. Key. That just doesn't make sense. That's got to be some sort of French thing. French always have words that look completely different than how you pronounce them. There's no sense to it. Ugh. I don't know if y'all heard that on the microphone, but my back popped like 5 times. Whew. Yeah, so it looks a lot different over here, but I'm really liking it. I love this little park right here. It goes right next to this metro station. Oh, this traffic is kind of backing up a little bit. Not sure what I can do about that. This needs to fill in more before really see what's going on there. This is filling in nicely, though. Now, Jack Daniels, you can take a look at this here. So my district ends right here. So I told Mitt Romney, that's right. I told Mitt Romney, I said, hey, man, you go ahead. I'll do it halfway, and then you meet me halfway and finish it off for me. So I do it all the way across, but it's not in my district. West Virginia, man. Y'all are some pretty hardcore boys there in West Virginia, aren't you? Woo-wee! Tell you what. Uh-oh. Got a fire going over there. See, how is my fire coverage? Oh, my fire coverage is... And then Makita, I can see why he's got a fire. He's got no fire coverage over here. I guess I could throw in a fire station to cover his district a little bit, but it still wouldn't reach all the way over there, so I'm not gonna. Police is fine. Healthcare looks fine. How's my death care? Death care is fine. My education. My education maybe could use a little help here. Okay. Got capacity for 50,000 university students. We only have 15,000 high school students in the entire city. I don't know. Those college professors, though, they get their people too. They need jobs, definitely. Right, I think I'll throw in that extra elementary school in here. I think that makes sense. We'll put it in right next to this. Right next to the park here. I think that's a beautiful place for it. Yeah, that looks good. And, I don't know, do we need the high school? We don't really need the high school. I'm going to leave the high school alone. Alright, trash. Oh, we got more than enough capacity there. I don't know, I guess I could, since this is full, I could always throw another one in, I guess, but... So, I kind of like how the rail, though, goes all through here. It really... I don't know, there's something about it, I like it. Something about it. Okay, I'm going to complete the walkway. Thanks, Bo. I'm going to actually go delete it and start over just to have it go all the way across. Like that. And then maybe like bring it down like that. Yeah, that looks good to me. And then I'll let Mitt Romney connect to Blake Street at his leisure. Since that's in his district, but that way these guys can come over. I mean, technically they could have gone over right there, but I like the idea of having that bridge, and you could see it's being used. It's not like nobody's going to be using it. So, all right, there's that. What's my park doing? It looks so serene here. Just a couple buses. Got a lot more people in that one university than I thought there would be. Good visitors there. 31 people using that metro station. $40 people there. 172 there. $304 there, and that's being well used. Look at all those people coming out. They just go down the street. I guess they're going to the bus stop here. full capacity bus right there. We might have to up the number of buses on that line. We're making money now, aren't we? Woo. Yeah, I wish we had Park Life, man. Are we gonna have Jack Daniels? You know, are we gonna be able to have Park Life on the next CB2? Because if I had Park Life, man, this area here would be so choice. It'd be so nice. I mean, it's probably my favorite DLC. Let's be honest, Park Life. I'm pretty much done, boys. I'm just going to kind of let this run and talk to you guys, just so that it can stabilize out, have everything come up before I pass it on to the next guy. Oh, you're talking about putting some walls over here. I mean, I don't know. See, that looks fine to me. Maybe on this deepest, darkest part here, but you know, I'll do it just to do something. Let me make this curvy. In there like that. Definitely gonna have to work on the shapes of this though. There you go, buddy, just for you. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right. Honestly, I liked it natural better, but I'm gonna leave it for now. Like it looks good here, but I don't like how it. There's just no good way to end these quays or keys or walls or whatever the hell you call them. There's no good way to do it in this game. I hate it. Oh, I don't like that zoning. What happened there? Who was drunk when they were zoning over here? Oh, wait, that was me. That bypass definitely, that underpass definitely helps a huge amount with all that traffic. That traffic is now just gone. Looks like it was also delaying the trains or whatever was delaying the trains got cleared up, which is good too. One of the two. "32 passengers. Like we got plenty of traffic here. Not too terribly bad. It was a lot worse before he put in. I don't know if you were here earlier, Jack Daniels Prime, when I was talking about it. And this is not really a roundabout. It's more like a phallic about. If you ask me. No, I'm blaming this on you. It's not my choice. It was your choice. It was definitely. I'm blaming the wall on you, buddy. I'm blaming it on you. I take no responsibility, even though it was technically all mine. Yeah, I like this little statue he put out here. He did a good job with that. I like that. Well, there seem to be too many problems. There's a little trash problem right there. This guy needs educated workers. But you'd never know that I didn't have any zoning over here. I guess there's a couple of spots, but... This still needs some filling in, though. Yeah, it's wanting more people than it does offices, though. So what I might do is I might just rezone it from here south. I'm going to pause it while I do this. Do it like that. Wish you would have taken more time in your hole in the ground. Let's go take a look. What'd you do? Oh, on this thing over here? Brittany Graham Bridge. I thought it said Billy Graham at first. Yeah, that's kind of a hard thing to do. Like, I guess if I was doing this, what I would do is I'd have a road here come over and then down into it, connect right there, and then come back up and then out. I think that's how I would do it. Or maybe you keep the cross bridges, but you connect it from here down and then back up, and then leave those little doohickeys out. That's how I would have done it. Kind of too late now, though, buddy. Not much you can do about it. Man, look at all this traffic here. But I do like how he did this bypass here. I think that's working a lot better. Still a heck of a lot of traffic there. This, I think, needs to be upgraded to 3. That station's being used. You could definitely see that station being used. Woo! All right, well, any suggestions? Anything you would change about my district? Yeah, there's a pretty good amount of latency going on here. I had figured that out, but I got a new camera since the last time I did one of these live streams, and I got to figure out the latency again. It's just going to be in the settings. I do like the way my district looks better. It just seems like it fills in more, especially over here and down here. You know what I'll do? I'm just gonna bomb it with a bunch of trees. I'm just going to use these kind of trees here. Oh, I'm using the wrong little thing here. Yeah, those trees are kind of ugly. Not those. Maybe this tree. More walking paths through the Central Park. Okay. I'll go take a look at it. First, I'm going to go tree happy. I think that's my district right there. Yeah, that's right at the edge of my district. I might have thrown a couple trees outside of my district. I hope y'all forgive me for that. I would got a little tree happy there. Microphone is not holding its height anymore. My microphone boom, I should say. Alright, let's take a look over here. Let's make this daytime. That's better. Alright, so more paths. There's one. Not sure where else I'd put one. So this road here really doesn't need much connection there. That's nothing but path actually right there. I don't know if you realize that. That's an all pedestrian path right there. No, I kind of don't want to put another one right there. Guess I could. Guess I could. I will. Alright, you convince me. Yeah, it doesn't look as sexy, but you know what? It is more functional, so I'll take it. I'll be honest, I don't like the elevated path idea of going around the outside. Think it'll lie to you. I don't like that idea. It doesn't. I guess it would look fine. It would look good, but it wouldn't really be functional. I don't think. This is starting to fill in nicely, though. Not enough educated workers. I don't know how to make my workers more educated. I got all the school. We got all the schools we can stand over here. I got a university, 2 elementary schools, and I don't really need a high school. And I got one right there. Yeah, I mean, there ain't much more I can do about that. Looks like we had some fire issues there. Pretty cool looking shot. Now I know you put the vote out there, Jack, but nobody ever voted. Like there was literally 0 votes for my Posh Mall. You know, at this point, can I build it? I mean, I asked for it. I guess I vote yay. Nobody else voted yay or nay. That's the majority, right? 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 Just saying. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. You got it, buddy. All right. Where's my Posh Mall here? Posh Mall. Oh, yeah. I'm happy about this. Okay, where am I going to stick it? I would have planned my roads around it if I had planned on it at the beginning, but... It's kind of big to go there. I could throw it in over here, but I don't like that idea. No, I bet you I could stand to lose this road here. Throw it in right there. Put a nice path. Going right along behind it. here as well. Gorgeous. Well, Jack, man, if nothing else, oh, I did have. You had 13 yay and 4 no votes. Okay, I thought I had. When I last looked at it, this like I don't know, 3 or 4 hours ago, it said 0 votes, but um, I didn't actually click on it. I said 0 votes, so maybe just hit an update or something. I don't know, or I misread it. It's perfectly likely that I'm an idiot and I didn't read it right. But I appreciate you being in here and letting me know I can do it. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, I think that's about it, man. This has filled in nicely. The only area that really needs some development here looks like we're gonna need some demand for office, but I'll leave that to the next guy. And I think this will build up as other players play. I'm really digging my trains over here. I love my little train set over here. You know, I think the other thing I might change is instead of having it go in like that, I might have it come in over here. But I'm just gonna leave it alone. Or am I? No, I'm not. So instead of having it like that, I think it'll look better like this. There's one right there. Not really getting max use out of that one. Gotta do something about that though. So just right there. I already got this elevated thing, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to try to go over here. Okay. So. Well, what's we got? What we got over here? Are they still worried about educated? No, not enough goods to sell. Oh. Looks like we might need some proper industry. I didn't want to put industry in my district here because I would just pollution bomb my other districts, my other surrounding districts. I didn't want to do that to them. I was thinking of putting a lot more industrial right here. And this would have had a different setup. And I don't think that would have been good. I could maybe stick a little bit right here. I don't want to pollution bomb this guy. I know you know what I'm talking about, Jack Daniels. I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that's a wrap, man. I'm not sure there's much else for me to do here. Trying to think. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. That's a problem. I can fix it. Sorry, Makita. Sorry, buddy. Hopefully that'll up the goods production there. Cinematics, okay. Well, let's do it proper. So, where do we want to start? We want to start like way out here in the mountains. Just like a little peak. Pop. 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 I usually do this off screen. It's really odd actually doing it while people are watching me. set up the cinematic. Oh, where'd I go? There we go. Yeah, I actually doing the cinematics is one of my favorite things to do. I love doing cinematics. It's really fun. Actually, it's not fun doing them. But the result is my favorite movies are the cinematic movies. They just look better. I don't know. I find them to be more entertaining than listening to some idiot like this guy uh, talk himself through playing the game. I don't know. Some people like that. I don't. Obviously, I would. I wouldn't have very many people watching me if people didn't like that. But I like cinematics. All right. So I'm gonna say we'll do 30 frames per second, and we might, because it's so big, we might bump it down to 20. No, just 20, not 202. Alright, and ready, set, and go. Alright, cinematics just for you. Here we go. I didn't, obviously, I just kind of threw this together, so I think it'll be good. I've done it enough that I think it'll be good, but, you know, before I would make a proper video out of it, I might need to adjust some things. Yeah, when this is when this cinematic is done, I can, like, I did it on screen, but I can like talk you through it a little bit just so that you have an idea of how to do it yourself, because it's one of my, like I was saying, one of my favorite things. It's really nice to be able to show off your city. I mean, nothing shows your city off like this cinematic camera. See, that looks good to me. Obviously the LOD needs to be better. Yeah, no, it's definitely crawling at 20 frames per second. But usually the way you're going to do this, Jack Daniels, is you capture it at a low frame rate like this. And then when you're in your editor, you're going to speed it back up to 30 or 60. And it just will work better when you do it like that. And the other thing that you want to be careful about, and I think I just had one happen to me, is if it saves the game halfway through your Satomatic, you're going to have an extra pause there. You know, you learn these things as you play with it, but I'll do, like I said, a quick tutorial, and then you can play with it yourself on when you're doing your own cities, and just kind of see how it works. All right, bro. Yeah, that's looking good to me. I like my district. I don't know. I don't always like the things that I create, but there's something about this district that I really like. I love my little train set, and I love my little circular park in the middle. Train coming in with some cargo, or maybe to pick up some cargo, it looks like. Nice, dropping off some cargo. Now, some cargo going out. There's the passenger train coming on in. Reclaim Park, yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is 20 frames a second, by the way. I think this is like 8 frames a second or something like that. I agree about that underpass. Though, it doesn't look really good to me because the slopes are too steep. But it looks as good as I can make it, given my limitations, my restriction. There's that posh mall, that looks good. That university reveal was pretty cool. Yeah, well, West Virginia, y'all are in those Appalachian Mountains, man. Y'all got all kinds of stuff all around there, don't you? Like, all kinds of different elevations and slopes and whatnots. Never been to West Virginia. Mountain so high, you can hear Gabriel's trumpet sounding, huh? Almost heaven, West Virginia. All right. Give you an idea of the landscape around here. We got towns like Plainview, Levelland, Post. Those are all actual town names within a couple, 60 miles of where I live. It's pretty flat. There's an old joke. I heard the first day I went to college up here, Texas Tech. when you stand on top of, there's a hill in a park that's inside the Texas Tech campus, Urbanovsky Park. If you stand on top of that hill, you can see your dog running away for 3 days. That's how flat it is. Mystery hole. Ugh. I don't even want to know, man. I don't even want to know. Yeah, I love those mountains in the background behind the mid rises there. That just looks great. Well, did Fallout? I've never played any of the Fallout games. Was Fallout 76 taking place in West Virginia, I guess? Just based on your comment. All I know about Fallout, and this is basically an assumption on my part, is that the premise of Fallout is that it's alternate history where there was a nuclear war back in the 50s or something like that, and and so all the games take place in different locations and different times after the supposed nuclear war. That's all I really know about it, but I've never played it. Yeah, I used to be really big into shooters back in the Halo era, Halo 1, 2, 3, and a little bit into 4. Um, but I don't know, with my age, once I got a kid and all the stuff that I got to do, I don't know, I want to play a game like this to relax, and scratch the creative itch. Playing a first person shooter or anything like that, it just amps me up. It doesn't calm me down. I got enough in my life to amp me up nowadays, so I don't need ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm sure it's a great game. There are a lot of great games that I don't play anymore just because they're just not the kind of type of game I like to play. I like these sandbox type games. They just relax me a lot more. And there she blows. The rest of Discordia. Well, first person, third person shooter. As far as the relaxation factor, either way, it just doesn't do it for me. I agree. It is a pretty cool looking city, man. It's kind of interesting how it somehow fits together, even though it's also very eccentric. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next one because I think it's gonna be even better. All right, guys. So I think that's gonna be it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Jack Daniels, for participating. And thanks for having me in Discord, by the way. We will see you. I don't know. They might not choose me for the next one. It's not up to me. It's up to people, other people other than me. But if I am chosen, I look forward to seeing y'all in the next city. So, thanks, guys. Talk to you later.